Let me show you how I make these zippered pouches. They make great gifts. This pattern's easily adaptable to any size, but here you can screenshot what I used for the size for the video. The first step is to apply the interfacing to both of your exterior pieces. Follow the instructions on your interfacing. Now with your main fabric piece, right side up, you will take your zipper and the teeth side, face it right side down. So the two right sides are facing each other. Next, place the lining so that it is right sides down. You'll have right sides together with the zipper in the middle. And the important part is to have your zipper top teeth facing towards your exterior fabric. Now go ahead and pin or clip these together in this sandwich. I've sped this part of the clip up by 3 times just so that you can see the process in which I'm trying to line those up and kind of keep making minor adjustments so that I can get them lined up well. Once you are done pinning or clipping this, you will go along the edge of that sandwich. Make sure you're catching all 3 layers, and it tends to be approximately 1/8 of an inch from the edge when you use that zipper foot to go along there. Now that you've sewn along that edge, you're going to open up your fabric pieces and pull the other side of the zipper tape out. I usually just finger press back the fabric, but you can also iron at this step, and just making sure that you're getting those bits of fabric out of the way so that you can make your other side of the sandwich. In the same fashion that we made the first sandwich, we're going to put our exterior fabric right side up, and then we're going to put the zipper tape in the middle, and the teeth are going to be facing the exterior fabric. And then we'll go ahead and put that final lining piece on top of all of it. Because we're sewing these pieces to the other side of the zipper tape, that first part we sewed will stay out of the way because it is below where we're going to be sewing this section. Again, with the zipper foot, you will go along here with about 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. And once you're done with that, you're going to open up both sides of the fabric and give this a nice press. It's very important that they lay nice and flat so that you can do the top stitching and you won't have any puckering or bubbling around the zipper tape. Now you'll take the zipper foot and you will go right along the edge of the fabric and just sew down the fabric with a nice top stitch. And I usually like to lengthen that stitch just to make sure that the fabric will always stay out of the way of the function of the zipper. For the zipper tabs, I just take small scraps of fabric and I press them into quarters so they look like this when they're opened up. And once you press them into quarters, you'll want to top stitch down the sides of both, usually about 1/8 of an inch from the edge of those zipper pulls. All right, here's just a different color that I have folded into quarters so that you can see it a little bit better in the camera. Once you've got those top stitched, the very next thing you're going to want to do is open the zipper slightly. Just to go inside the portion of the bag. If it is on the outside of the fabric, it will be outside of the zipper pouch and not function as a zipper. So it's very important you make sure you slide that open. And now we are going to add the tabs to the pouch. When you add the tabs, you're going to fold them in half and make sure the raw edges are pointing towards the outside of the bag or the raw edges. So you want the raw edges all aligned. Sometimes this seems counterintuitive because when you think about how you want the tabs to stick out of the bag, you want to put the loop side on the outside, and this is wrong. So you need to make sure that the raw edges of the loop are lined up with the raw edges of the bag and that the finished part of the loop is inside the bag where the finished fabric is. Check and make sure your zipper is open at this point so that you do not sew it outside of the bag. Once you've sewn that, it will look like this. So we have the raw edges hanging out. We still have some zipper tape hanging out, and we have the loops pointing in. Our zipper is opening and functioning. This is what we want right now. And a quick view of the top stitching from the back side. You can see it stand out a little bit better. Now we're going to prepare the bag to sew around the outside edges. So we're going to take the 2 exterior sides and match those corners together. And we'll also match the lining corners together. You want to pin and clip this all the way around. The zipper will have a slight rounded look when the bag is finished, and that's because we're not using zipper tabs at the end of the zipper. I prefer this method, but if you don't, then you may want to make a couple adjustments. We're going to sew this all the way around, but leaving a small opening in the lining. I like to leave an opening that is about the width of my hand so I can reach through that in order to flip the bag inside out. Before you begin to sew, make sure that you have opened the zipper fully or at least enough that you can slide it with your hand reached into the bag. I did not do that in the video, and I do have a pretty fun time getting that slid over. Once I'm done sewing around the outside of the bag, I use my scissors that are for zippers only and I snip off the edges. Oh, and one more thing. Before I flip it inside out, I do go ahead and round off those corners. All right, you want to gently pull the zipper pouch through. I did cut out most of the part where I'm just fussing to try to get the zipper to open up. That was super, super fun. And so then gently go ahead and pull the bag inside out through that opening. And sometimes I find pressing here is helpful when you want to go ahead and stitch across that closed, but it's not necessary. It's certainly not something you have to do. The most important step I do once I get the bag flipped inside out is to check all of the stitching and make sure that my tabs are correct and that I've caught my zipper everywhere I needed to and all of the edges. I just don't want to close up that lining until I know that I don't need to flip it back out and fix something that I might have missed or gotten off track on. Now you're ready to match up that lining and go ahead and stitch across. I do find pinning it helps to get it even and better looking. Certainly not something I always do, but here's that stitch line, and then now you're ready to put the lining inside the bag, and you are done. A couple potential modifications to this zippered pouch would be to just simply make it in a different size. As long as the zipper is going to go across the length of it, you can make bigger or smaller pouches. This is the same principle for all of them. Another quick edit would be to put zipper tabs on the end of the zipper if you don't like the rounded look and you want it to lay flat. And I'm Black Hills Sewing. I hope you enjoyed this video and I love your engagement. Have a fabulous day. Thanks for watching.